Why, hello! Today we talk about the 8 Democratic senators who voted to reopen the government with Republicans, Trump's pardons, and Trump's scramble to win voters with some really bad ideas. Stay tuned! Oh, hello! Welcome back to Even More News, the first and only news podcast where we all wear green hats. My name is Katy Stoll.
Hello to the Green Hatter from another fellow Green Hatter. My name is Cody, and I love my green hat.
Yes,
And
it
yours,
is, and yes,
everybody
he
else's.
does, folks. And Jonathan is also here.
Nodding. Yes.
Jonathan, what happened this weekend? Let's walk through the timeline.
The timeline was Saturday happened, Sunday was going, and then on Sunday night,
It turned into Monday.
a bunch of Senate Democrats, an interesting collection of them, decided to cave essentially on the shutdown and agree to a continuing resolution to reopen the government. It hasn't reopened yet. As of when we're recording, the House has to come back and vote on it. Trump has to sign it, etc. So these senators, enough to get over the filibuster, 60 total senators, are going to push this thing forward. The only thing we get out of it is all of the people who were furloughed in those reductions in force and fired, they all get to come back, and they can't be fired again until after January. They'll all get paid. So it basically is just going back to what happened if the shutdown never happened. There are no concessions on the ACA subsidies, except Republicans promised to bring it up for a vote in December, a vote which will, of course, fail because they don't want to do it, even if they do bring it
And we have
back.
no leverage.
Fail to happen or fail to pass? Fail to happen?
Either.
Fail to
I mean,
pass.
it
Could
might
be.
fail to happen, and then if they do, it'll fail to pass. I assume they just won't do it because they don't want the optics of voting against people getting health care, but I don't think they care much at this point.
Look, it's not a good position to be in regardless. The Republicans didn't want to come to the table, didn't want to negotiate. So I get that, but we just won. People are behind the Democrats largely in this fight, and we just gave up. Rolled over. And I also want to acknowledge that I don't feel good about people being caught up in the middle of this political bullshit when their literal lives are at stake, their income, their SNAP benefits, etc. But fuck, man.
It feels like this was the height of our leverage when people are coming back. Obviously, people on the left want a fight. A lot of Democrats wanted to keep fighting, and this collection of 8 of them decided not to. Let's talk about these 8 people.
Yes, let's.
These 8 Democrats, it seems like were selected by a larger group of people who wouldn't be as affected and could take the backlash. They're all either retiring or they're not up for re-election until 2028 or 2030. No one who's running again in 2026 who would have to answer for caving and not fighting. People like Dick Durbin, who's retiring. People like Jackie Rosen, who's up in 2030. Cortez Masto, Angus King. And of course, John Fetterman, who I don't know what he's thinking or doing anyway.
Over again.
Yeah.
He's been doing that for, since the beginning.
Schumer is publicly against this. He is coming out and saying he's against it, but it does seem
Strong
like some
words.
of the Democrats who are publicly opposing it privately were like, okay, you guys will take the heat and we'll do this. And for what it's worth, get people their SNAP payments for now again, like everything starts functioning again, but you guys are going to take the heat and we can say like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you caved. But people are still very angry at Schumer.
The Schumer thing is so frustrating because, this was orchestrated by him, and yet he goes out there very publicly, I'm a no. You're pathetic. You're pathetic.
Yeah, it's sort of obvious. Like it's already obvious what's going on, and they wanted to cave. They wanted to do this. They are very squeamish about taking a stand in long term. Trump was threatening to nuke the filibuster, which I imagine a lot of the Democrats don't actually want to happen. So they're like, well, we got to do something, even though public opinion has obviously turned against Trump so much and was generally supportive of Democrats doing this. It seems like there were too many threats on the horizon that they couldn't handle, and they just wanted to get back to it.
Yeah.
So it's very obvious they have sort of like, well, you have like a sort of rotating, group of like Democratic villains that you can sort of trot out there, and they can sort of take the heat, and they're not going to be up for re-election for a long time. So this will have long passed. People have forgotten about it, probably. And so it's very obvious what's going on. He's like, well, I'm a no. Okay, great. But it's very obvious that he's orchestrated it. Also, it was reported literally by the Prospect like 2 days ago that there were these backdoor meetings and Schumer had been involved in them. So it's obvious on its face and also by the reporting. And so we're in this situation where either Chuck Schumer is lying, I'm a no, I think this is bad, and but he's really making it happen, or he's lying and saying, this is bad, or he's saying telling the truth that he's a no and this is bad, but he can't do his job and get other people in his caucus to vote the way he wants to. It's his job to not have that happen, instead of do a little tweet or a little video like, I'm voting no. It's just pathetic, and it telegraphs weakness, which, there are reasons, and we'll get into some of the counterpoints about why this is actually good or bad or whatever. But all it does is telegraph weakness to the Republicans and Trump specifically, who is a fear smeller. And he knows, like, oh, you'll cave. All you got to do is like threaten to nuke the filibuster and you'll cave. I know how to control you now.
We feel the weakness. We're disappointed. Again, a week ago, we were on the precipice of a very historic and exciting election. And the voters were very clear about what they wanted. And the polling for the Democrats is in the toilet. And it's because of this. It's because of the lack of backbone. It's the weakness, the lack of a plan, any coherency, and way to throw away any gains, or not gains, but just totally dismiss your electorate. It's interesting to see the way people are making public statements right now. Coming to mind is Ro Khanna calling for Chuck Schumer to step down as the minority leader. And then you've got all of your potential presidential candidates coming out with very strong statements about how this was a mistake. But at the end of the day, they all know this is all posturing. This is all trying to position yourself to look a certain way. But at the end of the day, the Democrat Party just got together and decided to concede.
I think we have to think about what Republicans would do if they were in this situation. Because granted, you could argue that these 8 Democrats wanted to end the suffering. People are suffering out there. I also think they didn't want their flights to be delayed or canceled. But if the Republicans had a chance to a Democratic president in a situation where Thanksgiving is going to be ruined because flights are delayed, flights are canceled, people can't make their flights, people can't see their families, and they're going to blame the president for it, I think we know what the Republican Senate 100%. Would have done. Now, I'm not saying like the shrewdness needs to be so cruel where you're going to do that to people, where you're going to disrupt American daily life just to win politically. But the fact of the matter is like we know who has the fight and we know who doesn't have the fight. And all of these people wanted to get back to their lives, right? They wanted to be like, well, I've got flights coming up. I've got Thanksgiving plans coming up.
They're just so afraid. They're so afraid of things reflecting poorly on them.
Yeah, or things changing, right?
Or things changing.
If you're gonna nuke the filibuster, then we can't let that happen.
Ultimately, it's that, isn't it? it's being afraid of what that. I mean, it is a Pandora's box, but
that seems like part of it. That's obviously been a big discussion in the Democratic Party for the past however many years. So it is a question that people seem to, the party is split on in certain factions, but that seems like part of it, at least. If he's doing this and he's threatening to do this and he's throwing all the stuff out, then they might want to keep a lid on it.
Well, the Epstein stuff has gone away to a degree in that the government's been shut down and the House has not been in session, and Johnson refuses to swear in. And, we've been in a stalemate there. I guess there is an argument to be made that something can move forward in other arenas, not just Epstein, but in other arenas that can bring a new issue to the forefront before everybody sours on this one. Because, I don't want to gloss over, and we haven't, Jonathan's called it out, so have I, that real people's lives are in the mix here, and people need to eat. And not being able to get home for Christmas will not reflect well on anybody. However, neither will the exorbitant healthcare premiums we all need to pay.
Well, right. Like, the healthcare costs are going to go up now. And a lot of them are like, well, we were never going to get that anyway. That was all just, I think Angus King was like, we were never going to get those ACA subsidies back.
There was zero chance of dealing with the ACA issue as long as the shutdown continued. Now, I don't know, 50-50, but there's a lot better chance now than there was this morning.
So why did you do this in the first place? Why would you admit that you didn't think you would ever get what you wanted? Also, they're slashing SNAP benefits anyway. Like, a lot of people are going to lose that. So now with this healthcare thing where Trump is saying, no, here's the plan. You don't have to pay the insurance companies anymore. We're going to just give you the money so you can get a, quote, much better policy.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't say from whom.
Yeah.
From whom or any specifics.
In other words, take from the big bad insurance companies and give it to the people. And then they're going to, it's so unclear
and
what
then
they're
those people
do.
can buy an insurance company from a magic unicorn health insurance company. Like, what are you talking about, dude?
You put insurance companies on the marketplace, then you can buy your insurance company on the marketplace.
Is he pitching Medicare for all? Or
it's
what?
unclear what he's pitching.
No. It's unclear. So I wanted to make
it's like an
health.
It's like an HSA type thing.
It's an HSA. I think he's in a panic mode. Also, looking at the reactions, what happened with the elections last week. Obviously, he's just on a tear, throwing stuff out, seeing what sticks. The confusing insurance idea being one of them. Other things he's thrown out over the weekend. We're going to do 50-year mortgages. Very
people like
unpopular.
That idea?
No, people don't like the idea of renting
from
a bank for the entirety of their lives, and they die and their homes are still not paid off. And look, the $2,000 tariff rebate. I mean, he's floated that before, but I mean,
is that on top of the Doge checks?
On top of the Doge checks? I'm not sure. Is it a rebate,
we're waiting.
or is it like a tax
There's like
deduction?
4 checks I'm expecting now. We have 4 checks on the way, right?
Where's my $10,000, Donald?
I'm waiting,
you owe me so much
Donnie.
fucking money now, man.
I know, we got on Biden for $600 for a long time. I'm like, Donald, you've promised so much money to people.
5,000, 2,000 again. Like, let's get on it.
And then people being like, well, this is nothing like the COVID stimulus. This is nothing. This isn't going to be inflationary because it's money we've earned. We've earned? No, it's money collected on us.
That's not you're assuming that tariffs work a certain way, that they work, and that everyone agrees on that.
No one will admit on the news that he just, it's not even a lie. I mean, it is a lie. But when someone asks him, he's like, oh, we're going to do these tariff rebates. And then someone on the news will ask him then what's the point of the tariffs in the first place if you're just collecting money to give it back to people and then raising prices and stuff? And he'll be like, well, we've done such a great job. And obviously gas is down. And sometimes they'll be like, no, it's not, or whatever. Like, he just keeps going so hard and has no shame that Slopadopoulos or whoever's like, all right, well, and I'm not saying like the media could get us
Jonathan.
out of this, but it's just like frustrating.
Just like
On
do
the
a
other,
little
fake
like,
it till you make
poke
it.
a little bit more.
baby.
Poke a little bit more. What do you mean? Could you explain? Like, explain to me how this tariff system actually works. Explain.
Yeah.
Like, I'll explain to you, and you explain to me, and we'll see who agrees.
And it's like they're like, well, we need access to Trump. It's like Trump is always walking outside and answering questions. He's not going to stop. He might make fun of you and call you fake news if you ask him a tough question, but like he can't stop. So,
Well, right. I feel like even the times when he's like, "You're the worst fake news in the world. You should be fired." What's your question? He still does it. He just like does his insult comedy, but then he still like addresses those. He probably forgets who you were 2 days later and is going to call on you again and be like, who are you with? Oh, they're fake news. But
yeah,
go
it's
on.
kayfabe. It's a show, you know?
Exactly.
So it's like, oh, that's NBC fake news. He's like, okay, well, here's my question. All right.
Yeah. So thank
Anyway.
you. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to answer it, but here's the answer. You're fake news. Bye.
So it does feel like Trump saw the election results and just freaked out, and he's like, I'm a populist. Affordability, here's money, I'll give you money, and the health insurance money is there, and 50-year mortgage. And he seems so out of touch because he's like, everyone except rich people will get $2,000. And then he's like, these idiots think that's a lot of money, right? I'm like stealing more from them with these stupid watches. Like, he's such a scam artist.
It's such huckster shit. It's so obvious every second of the day. I forgot about the watches already. We always forget about the new product that he has. I did want to point out, so like this insurance thing, it's not going to happen. They've been trying to repeal and replace Obamacare since it existed. And I feel like they've done like 80 to 90 attempts at this point. Before Trump was even in office, I think it was like 70 something attempts to repeal and replace Obamacare. So that number's up there again. This post, so Trump made this thing like, yeah, we're going to like take all their money and give it to you or whatever. And so Senator Rick Scott chimed in with a screenshot of that tweet. Said, I totally agree with POTUS. I'm writing the bill right now. We got to stop taxpayer money from going to insurance companies and so on and so forth. And then Senator Ron Johnson chimed in saying that Rick Scott is exactly the right senator to draft the legislation. No one knows more about healthcare than Rick. And I guess I just have to point out that Rick Scott was the CEO of Columbia HCA Healthcare Corp., and they did a bunch of Medicare fraud. They had to pay like $1.7 billion in fines and settlements because of the fraud that his company did to healthcare.
Who knows more about it than the guy that knew enough to do fraud?
I think Rick Scott may be one of the wealthiest members of Congress. He's worth like $500 million, I think.
Damn.
It's too much money.
They don't seem to talk about him. They talk about Pelosi a lot.
Well, he's the guy. He's the guy to do it.
Not that much. A measly $250 million. Sorry.
Hey, that is like, a seventh of what his company had to pay in fines for the fraud they did.
He really should start a crypto scam.
Should. Ooh, you know what? I know somebody he can call to do that with. It's the president of the United States.
Of the United States?
Yeah.
Huh.
I will be honest and thought he had already pardoned these people. I thought all seditionists had been pardoned already. But Trump pardoned a bunch of people who worked on the fake electors scheme in 2021 or after the 2020 election. So he pardoned 77 people, including Sidney Powell, John Eastman, Kenneth Chesebro, Rudy Giuliani, and Mark Meadows. But the pardon is written in very broad language, so it exonerates basically everyone who was accused of election interference. So if you go back and you say, oh, this person tried to subvert the election in this state and tried to put this false elector, even if they're not listed, the list of people that were pardoned, you still get a pardon. maybe it'll apply to future people. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. Here's what it says. I, Donald J. Trump, do hereby grant a full, complete, and unconditional pardon to all United States citizens for conduct relating to the advice, creation, organization, execution, submission, support, voting, activities in, or advocacy for, or of any slate of presidential electors in connection with the 2020 presidential election. So he specifies 2020, so it's not going to have to do with other ones for now. So that is such a everybody type of pardon. That's
I want to go through like each article about this because I always am like, how is this being presented? And at what point in the articles about this will it say the election that he lost, in which these people tried to overturn, thus overthrowing the will of the people in the U.S. government, thus treason. Like, you know, the word treason's thrown around a lot these days,
yeah,
right?
these days, but maybe we should reserve it. Because also, like, he has admitted that he lost at least a few times.
He has admitted.
He goes back and forth. It depends on his audience at the time, but
It depends on his mental health for the day or what state how cogent his brain is.
Did he have a grumpy poop, or was it more of an upbeat kind of thing?
Like, I just Apple effed for the word lost or lose in this New York Times article about the pardons, and it's not in there. And down in the
good.
7th or 8th paragraph, it says the proclamation announcing the pardons said they had been issued as a corrective measure to address, quote, a grave national injustice that took place when the 2020 election went against Mr. Trump and Joseph R. Biden Jr. became president. So, like, that's true. Yes, that's what happened. It went against him factually, but like,
that's one weird way to say it.
To be fair,
accurate
and balanced, etc., it continues. It represented, among other things, the latest effort by Mr. Trump to sustain the lie that the vote count had been rigged against him in 2020 and to rewrite the history of January 6th, which he has repeatedly referred to as a day of love. It's in there. I'm not saying it's not in there.
A day of love.
Okay, a day of love.
Honestly,
a day of love.
It was such a loving day. I felt loved. I could feel the love all around. I wasn't in a puddle of tears and panic. I seared into my psyche till the day I die.
It was, for me, it was not necessarily a day of love. It was, I have so much work to do. I didn't work here yet, and I was not doing that work.
You weren't with us yet.
Yeah, I was watching TV and going, what's happening here? Is Giuliani going to be the president after this? Like, can you enter a building and then declare the government over? I think we forget
it was a wild,
bizarre that was.
It united the nation briefly for a day and a half. Everybody agreed what a fucked up thing that was.
Yeah. January 7th, it was like people like Scott Jennings on CNN were like, he has to go.
Yup.
Impeach and convict.
Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. Yeah.
There's just no bottom for this man.
Good thing we elected the sleepiest man in the world to take care of that.
Trump's a little bit sleepier now, though. If you saw that.
He
has slept. He's I don't know if he's sleepier, but he has slept more publicly than Joe Biden. He's definitely asleep more often. He is slumpier.
All right, let's do something fun. I want to do something fun.
Let me read this tweet from Joyce Carol Oates, the author and I guess Twitter shit poster, responding to a big long Elon Musk tweet that she saw. I don't need to read the Elon Musk thing, but here's what Joyce Carol Oates...
Was it him being a stupid idiot?
It's him saying that, like, he's a maker and everyone else in the world is a taker, you know?
Oh, classic. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So Joyce Carol Oates tweets, so curious that such a wealthy man never posts anything that indicates that he enjoys or is even aware of what virtually everyone appreciates, scenes from nature, pet dog or cat, praise for a movie, music, a book, but doubt that he reads, pride in a friend's or relative's accomplishment, condolences for someone who has died, pleasure in sports, acclaim for a favorite team, references to history. In fact, he seems totally uneducated, uncultured. The poorest persons on Twitter may have access to more beauty and meaning in life than the, quote, most wealthy person in the world. I would say that's pretty accurate. That seems fair.
Clocked him. completely accurate. When he posts about history,
Get him, Joyce.
when he posts about history, it's about the Roman Empire, and he's wrong. And historians will be like, well, that's not what happened. That's wrong. So I guess she's wrong about that one part. He does talk about history, but he's wrong about it. In response to Joyce Carol Oates eloquently saying, "You have no soul, Elon. You are devoid of soul." Actually,
Well, at first he just responded that like he wrote Oates is a liar and delights in being mean, not a good human.
who does that describe? Wait, lies and delights in being mean.
And then he's like,
Joyce Carol
she's an
Oates.
author, so I need to use some words here. So he writes, eating a bag of sawdust would be vastly more enjoyable than reading the laboriously pretentious drivel of Oates. Okay, you got some words in there, Elon. Very good. And then, based on apparently her saying this guy doesn't like art or music or movies or anything, he's just been replying to accounts talking about like sci-fi movies with things like great movie. So like there's a post about The Fifth Element and he's like, great style in this movie.
So
Edge of
funny.
Tomorrow,
Extremely
great
funny.
film
It's
or something like that.
Incredible. I've seen it. I've seen that. Have you heard of art? Because the thing about art is it's indicative of, it's so feelings, right? So the beauty of, it's so funny. He's just like, I love movies, actually. The only other movie tweet he's done before this is basically saying that like the main character in Blade Runner is named Blade Runner. He just like, yeah, this is what Blade Runner would have driven.
Now he's I think it was like this is the car that Blade Runner would drive. Even though there is a movie, Blade Runner, and you can see how he gets around.
Yeah,
you can see the cars already in that movie, and the cars look, even though this is a dystopian future, the cars are better than cooler than the absolute dump truck that you put out there.
He's tweeting about the Culture series. I'm sure people are very mad about that.
The Culture series?
There's a series of books called The Culture. It's a sci-fi series. I've not read them, but he cites them often, and many people who have read them are like, you don't understand these books at all. You're evil and you don't get it. Stop citing these books.
Do you think he's just asking Grok for smart-sounding reactions to different movies he hasn't seen,
summarize
so
the
he can
films of
post it?
Antonioni for me.
Give me a talking point, please.
It's so funny. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but years ago, somebody asked Ben Shapiro what his favorite books were.
Was it his?
No, it was, I believe, probably it was like The Great Gatsby, Tale of Two Cities, To Kill a Mockingbird, and a couple other ones. Literally, it was the first 5 if you Google best books.
Stop.
No.
I'm not joking. Like, I'm not
No.
kidding. I'm not kidding. I will try to find my best to find the tweet, but like it was a list of his favorite books, and if you Google best books, it was just one after the other.
Remember when the Sight and Sound released their top 10 as they do every 10 years on the twos, and then they released like here's the 10 films that everyone voted for, and the filmmaker T. West top 10 is just like, if you Googled best films, it's like Citizen Kane, The Godfather, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Apocalypse Now, Psycho, Sunset Boulevard, Chinatown, Jaws, Taxi Driver, Easy Rider. And like, I'm not going to argue with any of those 10 fantastic films, but it's like if Elon Googled like best films ever, and he's like, I think I love this. 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yes, I love that one. And Psycho also had its moments in terms of bathtub, like.
Kane, Casablanca is my favorite of all of them.
Chinatown has been canceled recently. Okay, sorry.
Moby Dick, East of Eden, Huck Finn, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Scarlet Letter.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Junior year of high school.
I was going to say junior syllabus. He just pulled it out of his old binder. That's fine.
Slaughterhouse 5 is unfilmable.
We have fun here. We have little tidbits
did he say
of
that?
fun.
No, I just, like that seems like what he would say is like analyze Slaughterhouse 5 at Grok.
Yeah, analyze
it's
Slaughterhouse 5.
So I wanted to mention before we wrap up that the Supreme Court says it will not revisit Obergefell. It's not going to strike down same-sex marriage, at least not with this case. So it feels like they're at least a little bit aware of the national sentiment and don't want to piss everyone off too much just yet.
Huzzah.
So they're gonna.
I wonder
this is
if-
great.
Good news. Thank you, everyone, but Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas. I'm assuming, maybe Barrett.
Yeah, it's great news. The fact that it's great news, it's fucking wild because it shouldn't be news at all. It shouldn't have been something that we've been worried about for so long. And I'm very relieved. Of course, there is a point of too far, I guess.
Amy Coney Barrett did suggest a week or two ago that it would be tough to overturn Obergefell because it's been settled law for 10 years and that people have planned their lives and marriages around this. So she did hint that she might not be on board with overthrowing it because of the disruption of the law. So, they only needed 4 to bring the case, and they probably just didn't because they knew it would fail. So, yay.
Yay. That's interesting because it's like also say like, well, yeah, but also we disagree with it. Like the idea that like, well, I think it would be a little chaotic is like a funny like reason to do it. Like, well, that's good that's a reason, I guess. But
Okay, well, folks, we have daggone done it again. We've arrived at the end of our program for today, but don't worry, we'll be back later this week. And one way to make sure you never miss new releases from us is to like and subscribe. How cute, how fun, how novel of me to say. Oh, and one other thing that is cute and fun and novel for me to say, which is...
What?
We love you very much.
Much?
And I mean it. Much. This ad is brought to you by Vive Healthcare, the makers of Apritude, cabotegravir. You never skip your SPF, and you carry hand sanitizer like an accessory. But what are you doing for HIV prevention? One way to help protect yourself from HIV is Apritude, a prescription medicine used to reduce the risk of getting HIV in adults and adolescents weighing at least 77 pounds. You must be HIV negative to receive Apritude and get tested before each injection. If you think you were exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. More HIV testing may be needed. Apritude does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections. Practice safer sex to reduce your risk. Get Apritude as scheduled. Missing doses increases your HIV risk. Don't take Apritude if allergic to it or taking certain medicines that may interact. Tell your doctor about your medical conditions, liver problems, and mental health. Serious side effects include allergic reactions or rash, liver problems, and depression. If these occur, get medical help right away. The most common side effect is injection site reaction. Bring your A game and talk to your doctor. Learn more at apritude.com or call 1-888-240-0340.